Hey, so Mr. Harper here. I'm going to show you how to make the Build a Body app. So we're going to just set up the UI just to start with something simple or easy. So I've already created my app called Build a Body. So if I go in here, this should be an empty app. I haven't really added anything to it yet. And so we're just going to kind of walk through it. You do want to make sure you use your sketch and you try to make your app as close to your sketch as possible. I didn't make a sketch, but I have an idea of what I want to do in my head, so I'm just going to go from there. See here, so to start with, we're going to add a canvas, because we're going to need a canvas to kind of set up our sprites. Alright, and then along with the canvas, let's go ahead and we're going to have two buttons. We're going to have a start button and a reset button, and I want those to be side by side. So what I'm going to use to kind of help me put those side by side would be I believe it's going to be a row. I'm just going to drag that on the screen, and so it did put it underneath the canvas, which is fine. That's where I want it. And now I'm just going to add my buttons to this row by just dragging them to the row. Going to drag another button into the row, and I'm going to select the row over here, and I'm going to actually set the height, set a fill container. We actually want it to fit the contents, that way it doesn't take up too much space. And then I'm going to change the horizontal alignment to space between, that way it kind of puts the space in between these. At least that's what I think it does. We can try other options. I mean, obviously we don't want it to be bottom or center. We can try space around. Let's try, what does space around look like? Look like I'm having a hard time clicking. So that's what space around looks like. I think I like space between better, so I'm gonna keep it like that. Alright, and I'm going to add another row component to the top, so I'll just go down here. That row should be in layout, and I'm going to add it by dragging it in the app tree this time, because I want to make sure I put it on top above the canvas. So I don't know if you can see the little red line that's appearing on the screen, or the light blue that's letting me know where I'm placing my row. So on top. And in this row, I'm going to add a few labels. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 labels. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to collapse this row. I'm going to collapse this canvas, and I'm going to collapse the row 2. I'm going to click on row 2. I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to set the height to fit contents, and I'm going to change the horizontal alignment to space between, maybe. But want to make sure I don't have my mouse. I want to make sure I'm clicking on the right one on my mouse pad. So space between. Alright, so that looks right. So now the last thing that I need to do is we need to actually rename these components. So I'm going to click on this first button here. That's button 2. And this is going to be my start button. So I'm going to use camel case, which means I'm going to start off with a lowercase letter for my first word. And then I'm going to capitalize the second letter of the second word. So start button. And I'm going to change the text to say start. Let's click on my other button, which would be button 1. This is going to be my reset button. So reset, I'm going to use camel case again. And let's go ahead and change the text of this to say reset. Alright. And then we're going to click on our row up here, and let's select this first label. I'm going to call this is going to be my score label. And I'm just going to change this text to say score and 0. Alright. And then this label here, the second label here in the middle is going to be my description label. Whoops. Description label. I'm going to leave this blank for now. I don't need any text in there. And then this last label is going to be my timer label. And we're going to set the text to say time. Let's go 30 seconds to start with. Okay. And speaking of timer, I do need to add a timer. So I'm going to search for a timer component and just add it to the screen. So this is my UI. Haven't added any program, haven't set up the canvas. I just kind of set up my UI. If I preview it, I can see what it looks like on the devices. That looks right. And if I go live test, it should also live test correctly. So that's everything. I'll see you in the next video.